Hey everyone, it's Lucas from the Pint Pals Podcast. Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Be sure to check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and now TikTok. We also have set up a Patreon if you feel like supporting the show in another way. Again, it is always appreciated but never expected. Let's get on with the show. Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Pint Pals Podcast. It is I, Lucas.
My name's Nate.
And today we have a very special episode. We are joined by Heather and Josh from DankHouse Brewing Company.
How you guys doing today?
What's going on?
We're good. How's everybody else?
Good.
Very good.
Good.
Very good today. Drinking
is,
beer at 9 a.m. in the morning.
I am.
What better way to do it, right?
I'm glad it's not just us that do that. That has to do that on occasion.
We don't have a problem. We have a hobby.
There you go. That's a good way to put it.
This is an episode that I've been looking forward to for quite some time. These beers that we have here have been sitting in my fridge for.
You have been talking about them for weeks.
I know. I've been very excited about this. So the first time that we actually had anything from you guys was actually the 420 Fest that you guys were a part of with Halftime and Hop Culture.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. What was that beer? What was the one?
It was
Eating Trees, I
Also-
believe strain 11, I think. Or strain 12.
12, I
12.
think.
Strain 12, I think is what it was.
So is that different from the one we're having here today?
Yeah.
It is.
Chasing Trees is just kind of just this series where it's just kind of an evolving recipe. So we started at the premise of chasing trees, just chasing the perfect beer. So just always kind of
I like that.
tweaking it a little bit from batch to batch. And we've done 12 versions of it, but the one you're drinking, I believe, is strain 8.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time we've ever went back and made a previous version before. So
that was a winner.
we,
8 was a winner, I'm guessing.
Yeah. It went over really well ratings wise, and we just decided to bring one back.
Well, so before we get started with the beers, you just want to have them explain a little bit more about their brewery.
Yeah. You guys want to tell us about like how DankHouse came to be and what do you guys do over there and whatnot?
Absolutely. You want to take this one?
Sure. So yeah, we just brewed beer in our garage. That's kind of the way everyone starts, right? Brewed in the garage for about 2 years.
Yes.
And I was a 4th grade teacher and he was a cable tech. And we knew we just wanted to do something on our own, and we would sit in breweries and think we can do this. So we did. We came across this property in Newark that we fell in love with and knew we could build into something that we envisioned. And when the property kind of came available, we just dove headfirst into the project, and that was 4 years ago now. So
Started on that.
Who were some of the
We
biggest
had-
people for drinking your beer? Did you just give it out to neighbors or family?
it was tough. We did family for a while, family and friends, or we'd have friends over and they'd drink from their kegerator in the garage, and everyone's always going to tell you, oh, this is good. So I think some friends would contact us and say, hey, like, is it possible to get a keg for a party that we're having, or a Christmas party, or so we did a couple of those, 2 or 3 of those, and then some of our friends would take it and share it with their friends, and then we got enough that said, oh, this is good. So then we started thinking, well, maybe it is really good. And and then we never really looked back, and we kind of knew too, like, the system we were working on in our garage was a good system for a homebrew system, but it was still not ideal, fermenting in our hot garage, and it was kind of a pain. So we knew that if we actually had a nicer system, we could probably make it even better. So we didn't hesitate. Both of us kind of had the same vision, and everyone's like, weren't you scared? And can't believe, you guys, it's like, no, like neither one of us had any hesitation with diving right into this.
That's a big leap. That's impressive. Yeah. That's very impressive.
I quit. I quit completely from the cable job to take on the, working in the brewery, and we fully envisioned Heather carrying the financial load and the income and the insurance and all the stuff that comes along with having a family, and stuff that's needed. So we fully envisioned her to have to teach for, I don't know, 4 to 5 years, I think was the plan before she came on at the brewery. And I think we were 6 months open at the brewery, and it was either we hire someone to help out or she resigns and comes and helps out and runs the brewery. So she finished out that year teaching, and that was it. And we were both full go.
Yeah, I was quite tired of calling him on my lunch break and being like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm tasting beers from so and so and so and so," and I'm like, "No, I'm done." So it wasn't an option to hire someone else.
Yeah. But we started, it was when we did open the brewery. It was a 2.5 barrel little cart system, but we had 5 barrel fermenters and then a couple months into it, we bought a 10 barrel fermenter. So it was all double batching, quadruple batching, to fill these fermenters. And it was very, very labor intense and time intense,
for not a lot of beer.
Mm-hmm. So he did that for 3 years?
Yeah, we just expanded in COVID. So,
and then we decided to expand during the shutdown. So it we went to a 10 barrel system with some 10 barrel fermenters, a 20 barrel fermenter, and tripled the production size and capabilities. So that was needed and has treated us well so far.
Honestly, I'm always kind of curious, and I feel like it feels like we're kind of past this time of the pandemic, even though it is still going on.
Yeah.
And kind of curious, like how did you guys adapt during that whole situation with the shutdown and everything else?
We had a crowler machine, luckily, and for some reason, we were smart enough when we heard they were getting ready to shut bars and restaurants down to order an entire pallet of crowlers cans. Because right after that, there was a massive shortage. So we lucked out on that, and we crowlered everything we made, and we drove it around like we still kind of are to Columbus. And we did walk-ins and local deliveries, Columbus deliveries, and it saved us.
I gotta say, beer delivery is probably one of the greatest things that's come out of
all of
this.
I mean, it's still, as you guys have seen, it's still, Heather's dad takes a route on Sundays when we deliver. Heather and I both take a route. I mean, it's still us out filling up the trunk of back of our vehicle and driving around Columbus all day to get the beer still delivered. So
I was very surprised to see you guys.
Oh, they're the ones that delivered.
They were the ones that delivered.
Okay, there you go.
That delivered over here. And
yeah,
when I first met you, I was like, "Are you guys?" Because I recognized you from the podcast, and I was just surprised to see like the owners out delivering beer on I think it was a Sunday.
Yeah, everyone's always like, why are you still doing that? And it's like, man, I don't know. Like, obviously, we can't continue it forever, but the Columbus market was such a huge portion of our sales during COVID. And I don't know, we just kind of feel grateful and thankful for everybody that continued to order during the shutdown. And so it's like, I don't know, kind of one of those things we just kind of.
Yeah, obligated is not the right word, but just I don't know. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same.
You get to go out and you get to see the people that are always buying your beer and that don't get a chance to come in to the tap room. So it's kind of cool to get to, you get to see the people, meet the people that are buying your beer, drinking your beer, and supporting you. So it's just kind of, I don't know. Sometimes it's a hassle and sometimes it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Now I know you guys are on the Columbus Ale Trail. Do you guys do the stamps when you do the drop off beer, or do you have to go to the brewery to get the stamp?
Yeah, I believe the kind of the rules and regulations of the ale trail is to have to come and visit the tap room. So we
Gotcha.
don't do stamps as we go out and deliver.
All right, we want to dive into our first
Yeah.
beer here.
Yeah.
Which one we
What's
go
up
for?
first?
I was just gonna ask you that.
Yeah, do you guys have a suggestion of what order
What order
you
we
want
should
to
do
drink
this
these
in?
in?
I would go. What did you have again? You have trees,
Trees.
soulmates. Probably trees.
Okay.
Let's see which one that is. So this one.
Yeah, it's that one. You're gonna
What?
Now you're making me want to go get a beer.
are you gonna say which one we're doing?
Oh, I was gonna open it first here.
Oh.
All right. So this is Chasing Trees. It's an IPA. It's a 7%. So what can you tell us about Chasing Trees? And this is the strain 8. You said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the premise behind the name, we always kind of, I don't know. Sometimes we try to tie in family names and stuff. So that we came up with Chasing Trees a long time ago. My youngest brother, his name is Chase, and he's in the cannabis industry. So Chasing Trees just kind of went together, kind of fit our theme that we go with. So that's the 8th version. I believe that is Nelson and Sabro.
Yes,
That Sabro hop is super polarizing, man. That's like one of those hops that people either love it or they absolutely hate it.
Interesting.
Anything you can throw together with Nelson normally works, and
Mhm.
so that was one of the highest rated trees versions that we've done. So, you get a lot of that soft little tropical notes to it, and flavor to it. So that said, that one's been very polarizing.
This is probably
Smells delicious.
your first beer with the Sabro hops, Nate. Nate
Sabro.
is
Yeah, so I mean, I'm new to the whole craft beer industry scene.
Okay.
So the whole point we put this podcast together is kind of a way for Lucas to introduce me to all the different ideals behind craft brewing. I gotta say, Nelson is obviously the one I've seen the most in almost everything. Yeah. So I
Yes.
recognize that, but I don't recognize the. How did you say it? It was
Sabro.
Sabro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely
Like,
don't
so
recognize that.
it's not used a ton. When that hop first came out and first dropped, it was pretty popular. But for some reason or another, yeah, it just has not been widely accepted by a ton of people.
What do you think? It's gonna be a hit or miss for me. What do you think?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not
You
gonna
don't
give you
know?
any. I'm not gonna.
I love the smell though.
Yeah, it does smell delicious.
Yeah,
and
it smells great.
All right.
You
go
ready
for
for
it.
the first sip?
First sip.
All right.
That's a win.
Yeah,
That's a win. Wow.
I'm a big fan of that.
Wow.
Of
That's
those tropical
incredibly
notes that are in there.
smooth and
Tropical with the.
Mhm.
It's definitely lets you know that it is an IPA with
Yeah.
a little hot bite to it, but it's not.
yeah, not like in your face though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty true to the namesake, man. I mean, we try to pack as much, dank sometimes becomes a kind of a worn out word for us. We tend to hear it and see it and use it a lot, but it's pretty accurate. I mean, you get a lot of, like I said, a lot of the soft fruity kind of tropical stuff, but like you said, you definitely know it's an IPA too.
Is there a way to distinguish between the two hops, or do they just kind of blend together and make
I
like a
mean-
whole new kind of thing?
Yeah, so I mean, if you want to like really get like geek out on like trying to get into descriptions and like hop profiles and stuff, like Nelson is always described as, you get like a white winey kind of grape-ish kind of character out of it at most times, and then that Sabro's coconutty is kind of a word that's described used to describe Sabro quite a bit. is almost like coconut cream kind of is kind of what you can get out of it. So that's how those two are kind of described.
This is, in my opinion, just like an excellent like summertime IPA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that Sabro does a good job
Yeah.
lightening it up a little bit. We've only used Sabro one other time and one other beer, which we don't really make much anymore. We made a beer for a friend of ours restaurant here in town called 1922 on the Square. So he asked us to make him kind of a house beer. So we made a beer called 1922, and it used, I believe it was Citra Mosaic and Sabro.
Oh, okay.
But it was more on the American IPA side, so more on that a little bit more of a West Coasty, little bit more of a bitter side to the beer, which in hindsight is not real. Doesn't work really well with that type of beer with the Sabro hop.
People liked it.
Yeah, people liked it. It went over.
That's all that
okay.
matters, right?
Yeah.
I like this. I'm gonna save a little bit for the end here.
Oh, it's gonna be tough for me to save this. Are you ready to give this your rating?
Yeah, but you're in charge of.
I'm in charge of.
You're in charge of the scale. Yep.
Okay. So here on the Pint Pals podcast, we have our very own special rating system. We call it the Pro System. It's an acronym. The P stands for probably won't drink again. R is regrettable. O is optimistic. S is
Super. Oh, it's a super?
No, it's not.
It's super. Okay.
Satisfactory.
Agree to
And
disagree.
T is terrific. So, what would you give this one?
Honestly, I haven't had an IPA like this good in a while. So I'm gonna go with the low T.
I am also going to give this one a T. It's light. It's got that tropical note to it, and it doesn't feel like a 7.2. And
I know. Now that I'm thinking about it, I
it's
just
very
forgot that
easy
it was
drinking. And I feel like if I had more than probably one of these, it would sneak up on me real fast.
It is one of those things that you wouldn't realize.
Drink the whole thing, you'll know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something that you wouldn't realize. It would just sneak right up on you, yeah.
Oh, well, we're glad you like it.
Yeah.
It's very delicious. All right, so we can move on to our second one here. Which one do you guys suggest for the second one?
Yeah, I'd move right into Soulmates and then save the sour for last.
Perfect.
So what is Soulmates here?
So Soulmates is a double dry hopped IPA, dry hopped with Citra, Eldorado, and HBC 586. And I noticed that this is in collaboration with, oh geez, is it?
Beer me up.
It's a beer up bottle shop.
Oh, okay.
They're in Seoul, Korea.
How did you manage that?
They've been bringing in some more sought after craft breweries in the States over to their distribution network in Korea, and they've been reaching out to us on Instagram for
About a year.
Yeah, it's been about a year, wanting us to send them something. And so they wanted 4 different IPAs. And so we had already had 3 IPAs in the tank that we were planning on sending them. It was, I think we sent them Chasing Trees Strain 8. We sent them Double Dry Hop Couch Cushion. And we sent them Dank Skywalker. And so we had this 4th beer that we were getting ready to brew, but we didn't have a name or any sort of direction for it. So we reached out to them and we're like, hey, how about this 4th beer? We actually make it like a virtual collaboration with you all. We'll name it whatever you want to name it, and we'll kind of tailor it to the Korean fans and to your Korean bottle shop. So they came back to us with the name Soulmates, and we're like, well, that's perfect.
Clever.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And the actual logo, so on the front of the can, the glass that is being drank out of is actually their logo.
Which you can see on the side of the label.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's actually their logo for their bottle shop. So our dude that does all of our design work, Creeps McPeeps, did that, and I mean he kind of hit it out of the park with that one. Him and his buddy Wyatt Watson, they do all in design work and layouts for all of our labels, and do a fantastic job. But that one is not going to be your
Soft,
refreshing
yeah.
summer beer. That one will let you know that it's a double dry hop, double IPA real quick.
Yeah. I'm definitely getting it on the nose that I know.
Yeah. It's not subtle.
I'm not at that point yet where I could tell, but
oh, I think you're gonna be able to tell real fast.
I mean the smell. I'm sure with the taste.
But it's went over really well. I mean, that one is one of the highest rated beers we've ever made currently.
Oh, nice.
And the Korean fans, the Korean market and consumers have really, I mean, I'm sure the name and the idea that it's, in collaboration with a Korean bottle shop has kind of helped the
ratings
out a little bit, but but it's went over really well and has been received well.
You want to dive in for that?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
These beers have been calling to me since they've been sitting in my fridge.
Sorry, it took us so long.
Oh, no. You're totally fine.
Oh.
Oh, man. We should do 9 a.m. episodes more often.
Yeah, right? Maybe there's something different about the beers at 9 a.m., but wow, this is good.
So this is definitely more hoppy than the Chasing Trees that we just had.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yes.
For sure, yes.
So that is a double dry hopped beer. So you're looking at 30 to 40% more hops in that beer than the Chasing Trees that you had previous.
And it's not a palate wrecker, I'll say that. It definitely has that hop bite, but it's not to the point where it's overwhelming.
Yeah. And as I'm sure man, IPAs, you don't want to sit on those for real long and let them age, but you give those things, 4 to 5 to 6 weeks in the can, it's not going to hurt them, and they honestly kind of ripen up a little bit.
Yeah, mellow out
in the can, and mellow, and you don't want to give them too much time because they will fall off in flavor and aroma. But they're also a little bit of time in the can does them some good too.
What's up?
No, I was looking at the hops that were in it, and so
what is that?
So it's the Citra, El Dorado, and the HBC 586.
Yeah, El Dorado is one of my favorites. It has a lot of strawberry notes to it.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much in that beer, but
the 586 is just an experimental hop variety that hopefully they start producing unmasked, because we've used that twice with great results. We made a beer with Crooked Pecker. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not. If you're not,
where are they from?
They're up in Chagrin Falls, so up near Cleveland. The dude absolutely slays hazy IPAs. Like, there aren't many places that are making them any better than him. We did a collaboration with him called Crooklyn in the House. That we used that hop with some pineapple and a little bit of marshmallow, I believe, in that one, and that sounds good. Yeah,
it was so good.
Beer. Yeah, if nobody's heard of him yet or had any of his stuff, that dude nails it.
They're on my list to get on the show.
Are they?
That. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've heard nothing but...
Are they relatively new? Or are they just not as popular?
I think he's been open for 2 to 3 years, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, he pretty much whatever he makes, he sells out like
Yeah.
that day, that weekend. So
I noticed that's also a trend for you guys.
yeah,
Our tap room is busy, so we do go through a ton of beer in our tap room. We have 8.5 acres, and now we've got the disc golf course in there, and just a ton of outside space. So like, we definitely fly through some kegs of beer, and with Columbus deliveries, cans go pretty fast as well. So
Is your because I've been following you on social media. That disc golf, is that 100% ready to go?
soft openings today.
Oh, awesome.
So we are going to give it a whirl and see how it goes for invite people and sponsors that have sponsored a basket, and kind of give it a trial run today. And we're waiting for the state to approve our drinking
Yeah.
area, but people can probably be able to play next week.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just without drinking.
How many?
Yeah, we're just waiting on. We've done some preliminary meetings with the state to have them look at the property to make sure that we're going to be able to get the whole property open for drinking. Because part of the idea with the disc golf is, most of the disc golf courses are on public land, and you're not able to drink legally on the course. So we wanted to make sure if people are playing there, they can grab some beers and take them out on the course with them. So we are waiting for the state to approve the whole 8.5 acres for drinking space.
So it isn't all just directly on your property. It goes through residential area. Is that what you're trying to say?
Nope, it is all completely on our property.
It is all completely your property. Okay. He's in public
So it is
space.
a
That's what I was like.
Yeah, they're cutting through people's backyard.
Hey, you know what? Hey, I don't question
No,
it. Disc golf is its own kind of thing.
Yeah, most courses are on public land. This is all on our private land. It's 9 holes, and we've been wanting to do it since we took possession of the property, but the woods have never been touched. I mean, it was completely overgrown and just a disaster for, I don't know that anyone's ever been back there to try to kind of clean it up. So it's just always been too big of a project for our small little team to try to, wrangle in the midst of making beer and running a brewery as well. So our artists, Creeps McPeeps, and our photography. So all the photography and video work that you've seen done from the course as well is done by Wyatt and Chris, the artist and social media and photographer. And they spearheaded the campaign to get all of the, as many volunteers as they could. And we've had a handful of people that have been coming out and volunteering their time on their days off and just going back and just completely cleaning up and clearing out the wood. So it's come a long way this year, and it looks great. And we're excited to get people back there and see what they think.
No, that's awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. I know you guys also do live music there. Is that every weekend? I know you have a lot of bands coming out there.
We do. It's not every weekend. We're very big into like the American reggae scene. So like tropidelic, stick figure kind of music, the movement, just are some of the bigger names in that kind of genre of music. So whenever we can catch some of those style of bands come through, whether on a major national tour and they've got an open night, we normally try to snag them. But yeah, we do a lot with that. We've got a stage out back. Like Heather was saying, we've got a huge outdoor space as well for anyone that's listening that's never been to our spot. We've got the stage out back. We've got a shipping container that we converted into an outside bar. We've got Munchies is our now in-house kitchen. They operate out of a shipping container on the patio as well with street tacos, and smash burgers and coffees, and they actually just smash it with their food. So yeah, that's kind of a little outdoor venue as well.
That's awesome. We definitely need to make it out there for one of these shows. Have some street tacos and play some
August
golf.
14th. If you guys are not busy, and anyone that's listening is not busy, we've got a crazy good show with the band coming in from California that has been setting the world on fire out on the West Coast. They're coming through. Their name is Sideways. It's CYDESWAY. So we'll have a big stage, sound, lights, all that set up out there. And it's a free show, which not all of them are free.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll definitely try to see.
I think I'd be gone for that, but that'd be all you. I think you just finished your.
I did.
I guess
I
you
did just finish the Soulmates.
Well, do you want to give a rating for
Tea.
this one?
Tea.
Oh, okay.
Hands down, tea. That was
Wow.
absolutely delicious, and it was just such a. I mean, so from you guys, we've only had your IPAs, but each one has been different, and I like that I can tell the differences between the two IPAs, and it's not just like it doesn't feel like it's the same rebranding, just with a different name.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the knock on hazy IPAs that you hear a lot is they all taste the same. Like they're all the same. So we definitely we purposely, don't want to do that. And I'm assuming most breweries don't want that, but that's how it kind of comes out. So we don't try to just change a hop here and there from recipe to recipe. Like we try to change the entire base for it. So try not to use the same hops in combination. And it works for us because they are, I feel like each beer is definitely its own beer. And like you said, I hear that all the time. They're like, well, it seems like it's the same beer. They just changed the labels. And I'm glad that you're able to notice the difference.
What do you think, Nate?
It's on the fence. So, like, I guess dry hopped IPAs have never been my thing. I know we've had them in the past. I know
You aren't gonna hurt my feelings.
Never mind. No, I understand. I'm trying to think like past like dry hop IPAs that we've had, but I don't think it's my thing. I still do enjoy it though, and you are right that it does have a distinct taste as compared to the other one. I'm gonna go with a low S for me. Yeah, a low S. And again, we always say this. We always say this like it. Our ratings are just purely based off of what we experience, and a rating is different for everybody. So
absolutely,
mine was correct and
mine was wrong. Yeah, exactly. All right, so the next one here.
You want to talk about this one because I know that's the one you've been eyeballing.
Yes. So the juice is goose. So I mean, I've been on a sour kick for my whole life. I feel like
your whole experience in the craft
my whole
world.
experience in the craft beer world. So it's a sour ale with gooseberry, pineapple, and guava vanilla and milk sugar. 6%.
Yes.
So what can you tell us about this?
We so that's like one of the few beers that we actually use lactose and milk sugar in, and we didn't use a ton of it in there. That's one of those things and an ingredient that we feel like is used a lot anymore, and it's overdone. It can be overdone really easily, and then you get this weird kind of flavor in your beers. So there's just a little bit in there to kind of make the beer a little creamier. But the Cape gooseberries, pineapple, guava, vanilla. That was one of the first sours we made during the shutdown. And in all honesty, it was what all do we have, laying around the brewery. That was kind of the whole garbage pail thing that we had to stop using. That was the initial premise of that was like, all right, what do we have in extra inventory that would taste good if we put it together? So this was one of those first beers that we had a bunch of stuff laying around the brewery during the shutdown. And we just started doing little samples and mixing stuff up with different ingredients, and that's what we landed on. So that one has been a big hit for us.
Just like fruit juice.
Yeah, it's basically like one of my friends is like, dude, it's like Dole fruit juice. I mean, it's just like,
That's the smell I'm getting. That's like right off
yeah,
the bat. The smell is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I do like that idea though, just looking around and seeing what you have and just throwing it all together. I like that.
well, when as a brewery, when you order stuff, sometimes it doesn't make sense to order a few boxes of fruit because you have to pay these, extraordinary freight fees to get it to you. So you might as well load up on a pallet and just get, fill a pallet. That way you're, it's essentially saving on freight from having to order it the next time. So, but at the same time, you're always left with extra boxes that you didn't need for the previous recipe. So you have like 1 or 2 boxes that's not enough to do a batch on its own. So you just got them left over. So eventually you eventually you collect enough stuff that you can make something out of.
Oh, floating's in there. Are you ready for it?
I am so ready for this.
Let's go
beer.
for it. We actually,
Yeah.
we don't normally do that. Okay.
No,
All
no,
right.
no.
It's one of my favorite labels he's done too. That cracks me up. We have definitely gotten much better in our sour game here recently. So we feel like we've really been nailing some things. Super happy with how things have been turning out lately.
This,
Delicious.
yeah,
Man.
this is absolutely delicious.
Well, the thing I like about those that it's still got the strong sour taste to it.
Yeah.
The thing with the other ones is that it just tastes like a sweet juice, but this one you can still tell it's a sour. You're not just drinking a juice,
Yes, we've when we were first started making sours, we were not souring them quite enough. So you're right, when you start adding all of that fruit puree and fruit juices to the beers, it ends up just becoming a sweet alcoholic drink, and you lose that tart, sour background that people like. So recently we've been letting them sour just a little bit more. That way you still get that tartness in with the sweet fruit.
You just mentioned the how you like this beer label a lot.
Yeah.
I finally understand the whole joke on why it's called the juice is loose.
Yeah.
I don't think you will, because you're not. You
probably
not
won't.
into
No.
sports. Do you know what type of car that is, Nate?
No idea.
I think that's supposed to be a white Ford Bronco.
Okay.
The juice is
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I get it now. I get it now.
That's half the fun, man. Like we honestly like put as much thought into the whole can art and naming as we do what we're actually putting in the can. That part of the beer world is just as fun and entertaining to us as as making the beer itself. So it's fun, we make that and it's like, oh, and it's fun to hear you guys not have that click when you first got the can, and then for you to put it together, because to us we just assume like, oh, everyone's gonna get this joke, so it's fun to to see people pick it up. It's fun.
I wanted to just talk about something real quick. I said earlier that the first time we had one of your beers was during the 420 Fest.
Yeah.
Was that the first time that you guys were a part of that festival with Hop Culture? Because we were brand new to the whole. That was the first beer fest that we actually did together. I did their Saturday morning one by myself before.
Okay. No, we did. So we got invited. I won't bore you with the whole backstory on. Not really invited. We really were able to kind of push our way through the door on one of the very first Juicy Brews festivals. So Hop Culture did, I believe, did their first one in Manhattan, or maybe Pittsburgh, because that's where they're from. Then they did one in Manhattan, and then the third version was and location was in Columbus at the Crest. So the Crest turned into a beer fest for a day. we were able to kind of wiggle our way into that festival, and we had only been open for like 6 weeks. So
Wow.
absolutely no one had any clue who in the hell we were. But we were able to sweet talk a couple people into getting us an invite. So we did that one. We were received extremely well. I think we took Couch Cushion and Hot Pocket to that, and then they asked us to do their next Juicy Brews festival, which was in Oakland. So we flew out to Oakland, did the Juicy Brews festival out there, and then we've just kind of maintained a really good relationship with those guys and gals. So when they invited us to do this virtual beer fest where there were only 10 beers. I think there were only 10 breweries.
Something like that.
Yeah, that they had invited nationwide to be a part of this. Of course, it was all very cannabis related, which we fit right into that. We checked that box for most of that stuff. So yeah, we hopped on it in a heartbeat, and we're super excited with how that went, and that's now led to they are featuring us. We are one of 75 breweries, and they've been, for some reason, chose us to be on all the promos for the Untapped, their first live beer fest. So again, without going like all super boring mode and stuff, Hop Culture and Untapped and like Beer Advocate are all part of the same umbrella company now. So Untapped now invited us to do their first in-person beer fest since COVID out in San Diego in October. So we get to go out and do a beer fest inside Petco Park down on the Padres field in October. So super excited about that one.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that is incredibly awesome.
After the 420 Fest, I'm actually from upstate New York, and I went to the Halftime beverage store in Poughkeepsie.
Okay.
And I thought it was really cool to walk in and just see, because they still had it was a few weeks after the 420 Fest, and they had leftovers from the festival, and it was just awesome to see that just a small pile of chasing trees in Poughkeepsie, New York. I was just blown away.
Yeah, it's wild, man. We bought a box for that 420 Fest just to try all the other beers that were in it as well, and it's still very surreal to us to get a box shipped to you and open it up, and it's got your beer in it with like 450 North, and I think there was Great Notion, there was Untitled Art, Tripping Animals, a lot of these breweries that we geek out about a lot too. It was kind of cool.
One question I have here. So at the brewery, how many beers do you typically have on tap?
We float around like 8 to 10 pretty much at all times.
Any ones you kind of are new or just recently released that you would like to?
So we basically, like, everything is always new. We make one beer called Super Fantastic. It's an American style, more of a West Coast IPA. That's the only beer that's on tap like 99% of the time. And if it's not on tap, it'll be back on tap real fast. That's the only beer we made in the garage, only recipe that we carried over to continue to make today.
I like that.
So that kind of holds a soft spot for us. And it's still our number one seller. I mean, obviously because it's always on, but it still outsells everything else on a day-to-day basis. But everything else, we're always making new beers. And then we'll bring some back. From time to time. We'll always have a couple beers on that maybe we had on 4, 5, 6 months ago. Bring some of our more highly sought after and requested beers back on. But we've got one on right now called Pricky Icky Icky. And if you like your sours, that one is absolutely delicious too. So it is prickly pear, strawberry, guava, and cherry. And sweet cherry, and it's this like bright red magenta-ish color.
Have you
Just
had it?
No.
looks
Okay.
looks amazing, and tastes amazing too. So that one's kind of the hot one on the board right now.
Well, we still need to
But we
to
have
get our stamp, so
Yeah, yeah, we do.
we're gonna make the trip there soon.
15 taps, so we always have 5 or 6 guest beers on, that we try to have some really sought after rare beers. Always a light beer. We've always got something light for people that don't enjoy all of the sours and hoppy stuff, that just want a light, easy drinking summer beer. So always something light on, and then always just a bunch of other crazy, random, good, sought after stuff.
I think that is weird. Like to go to someone else's brewery though, and then get a brew from another brewery. Just, I mean, to me, it just seems strange. But
Yeah,
I
we've
don't
had,
know. I don't know.
we did it out of necessity to start with, because when we were on that small system, there were times that we had 2 and 3 beers on tap of our own, and so we had to supplement somewhere, and we
Yeah.
like drinking other people, and I was always a beer chaser with my buddies before we opened the brewery. Like we were always trying to find the most highly rated, sought after beers. We were always chasing them down and trying to figure out how we were going to get them, who was traveling where to get them. And that kind of carried over into the brewery, where Heather and I developed these relationships with these breweries and with all of our distributors that knew, like, all right, these guys want rarer stuff, harder to find stuff, like sought after stuff. And so we kind of developed those relationships in the distribution world and started bringing in those beers in kegs instead of cans. And so we always had those more popular beers on tap as well, and we still do it now just to supplement, for variety, because we don't brew all kinds of different styles. We stay in our lane for the most part, and we know people don't always want to come in and drink IPAs and sours and stouts. They want saisons, or they want lagers, or they want this and that. So we use other people's beer to supplement and fill that void.
You have to have something for the Bud Light drinkers.
I get it. I get it. I guess just like, I guess since I'm past that phase, I guess
Are
I just
you?
feel.
Are you?
I just think it's always just
But it's
interesting, but
it's always fun to get those people that come in, and they like, yeah. So we were just saying, excuse me, that we very rarely bartend anymore. We're always there, but we'll only hop behind the bar when the line's getting long and bartenders need some help. So it's fun to talk to those people that just want light beers, or like, I'm a Bud Light drinker, what do you have for me? And I hate IPAs, what do you have for me? And like normally we'll give them an IPA if they tell us they hate them, just to be like, well, here, try this one. Like, you never know. And sometimes they're like, all right, I can get down with that. And sometimes, like, I hate that. And like, what else do you have? But it's fun to see people's palates open up. Like, when we first opened, it was, we had a blonde ale on tap, and like the whole bar was filled with people drinking blonde ales. And then like we made Couch Cushion, which is this super dank, like heavy, hazy IPA. And like before long, you'd look across the bar and into the crowd, and it's like, holy shit, everyone's drinking Couch Cushions. So like, it's fun to watch, like, the progression of people's palates. Like how we had a girl come in one time, and she was Michelob Ultras. That's all she drank, and she ended up settling on, I think we had Bourbon County brand stout on tap, which is is like a 13% can of oil. I mean, it's she that's what she ended up drinking for the night. We're like, you said you drank the Ultra, and you just like
That is the exact
like motor oil.
opposite.
So it's, yeah, man, you just never know. It's like, you never know what people are gonna like. So it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I experienced that too. I work as a cellar tech at a different brewery, and at a brewery in the area, and the lager there is the number one beer, and we always have that in the tanks just because, you got to have something for that Bud Light drinker that comes in.
Yep. We do a Pilsner. And it will be back out called Pils Dispenser. That'll be back out in a couple of weeks. We just don't have the tank space to do lagers, man.
Right.
Like I would love to do more, but that's what Heather and I find ourselves drinking most often anymore. But they take so much damn time, man, and our tank space is at a premium and is, extremely valuable, and we gotta turn beers and move beers as fast as possible. Lagers throw a kink into our schedule pretty bad. Or not schedule, but just our I guess that would be a good way to say it, just our schedule.
Out of curiosity, you guys still do any kind of like just home brew? Or are you guys pretty tired of it when after coming home after work,
work is
well, I'm sure there's like restrictions. Is there any kind of like restrictions when you're in the brewery? Is there anything you could like push boundaries on when you're at home, right? Yeah, fair.
We've talked about breaking it out and doing some little experiments and trying to get ahead of the game to mesh worlds with my brother when things become a little more federally accepted. But we've never messed with it, and I don't know. Like I said, it's such a labor intensive process, especially to do when you get home. It's just not really feasible.
Understandable. Well, we
haven't
even rated this one as you finished it already again.
Yeah,
I've been saving it just for this cause. I also want it towards the end, but I'm gonna give it a T.
I'm also gonna give it a T. It was absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
I think you hit the nail right on the head with this beer, and by saying it was just like the Dole juice. That's as soon as you said that, that's all I got from it, with that sour kick to it.
Good.
I second your explanation there. I mean, it's phenomenal. It's hard to get that. I mean, it's rare to see one that keeps the sour taste to it, but also tastes like a good juice.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, do you want to talk about the app that you use?
Yeah, the Osner app.
Yeah.
Yeah, so OZNR, that is also another platform under that Untapped hop culture kind of umbrella. Yeah, so you can download the Osner app. You can subscribe to us on the app, and you'll get notified whenever we are getting ready to release a new beer. It'll notify you when the beer is actually available to purchase.
Let me chime in. It's canned beer. Anything we can. So you won't get notified if we're just releasing something for on tap at the brewery. But anything we can will be on that app.
Yes.
You can subscribe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can subscribe to us on Untapped, and then you will get notified every time we put a new beer on tap. But yeah, she's right. That Osner app is just for can releases. And anyone that is listening to, there is a slide bar that allows you to choose pickup or shipping. Shipping is actually what is made for delivery. They have not got that changed yet. So you can either select pickup and come get it at the brewery, or select shipping. And if you are within that 270 outer belt, we will deliver it to Columbus.
Are you still doing the free Columbus delivery?
We are still doing free Columbus delivery. We have, in some posts recently, we have asked that you at least purchase a couple of 4-packs. There is no minimum that you can set on there, and most people are like super respectful and order at least a couple, but you tend to get occasional 1 4-pack orders, which we are still delivering them because we've said no minimums, no deliveries. Up until recently, we've kind of changed that minimum to a 2 4-pack. There are no delivery fees.
I mean, that's only fair. That's... All right.
We want to move on to our beers of the day.
Yeah, our beers of the day, since it is 10:30 in the morning.
You can describe it too, because I don't think I could. I fail it every time. So
on the Pint Pals podcast, at the end of the show, we talk about our beers of the night. Except for today, we're going to be doing the beers of the day. And it doesn't have to do with our pros rating. It's just what we personally feel were our least favorite beer of the show and to our favorite beer of the show. So, what is your least favorite, do you think? I mean, I'm going to come out and say that I haven't thoroughly enjoyed each and every one of these beers, and I am very excited for your next release.
Good to hear.
So I think I'll go with the double dry hop. What was that called? It was the Soulmates. Still trying to get the double hop thing down. Trying to get
You'll
it.
get it, Nate.
I'll get it.
I'll get you away from adjunct beers. I gave you the adjunct
That's
beers
true.
to welcome you into the world.
You
but
did.
now
You
need
spoiled
to
me.
leave them.
You spoiled me with adjunct beers now. No, that's it. I still enjoyed it. It just wasn't. I mean, compared to the other two, I think they had it beat.
Okay. Excuse me. I am going to give it to the Chasing Trees Strain 8. I enjoyed all of these beers, but the other two were just I just nailed it for me.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
I'll go with the Chasing Trees as my number 2 here. I'm actually gonna finish it now because I enjoyed it a lot.
This is the first time that because after this we do a toast section, and I'm a little scared that I'm gonna run out of beer for the toast section. My number 2, I'm actually gonna give to the Juice is Loose. I'm sorry, the Juice is Goose. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
All right.
I a fun, sour, delicious beer, but to my number 1, the Soulmates, I thought was excellent, and
I mean, you did down it pretty quick.
I did. I love
You downed
that
it
beer.
pretty fast. I would have done the same to my number 1, which is the Juice's Goose.
Yeah, the
Okay,
Juice
I'm
is
gonna try
Goose.
it right. But I wanted to save it for this occasion afterwards, so I'm gonna save it for the cheers here.
All right.
I want to finish it now.
All right, and that brings us to our cheers section of the podcast. Unless Heather, Josh, you got anything else you want to say real quick? Any you can talk about any upcoming releases or anything like that?
I don't think so, man. I think we've covered about everything, man.
Well,
Okay.
come check us out and hang on the patio and have some tacos.
Yeah.
That's definitely on my to-do
Trying
list.
to turn that August 14th into a huge ass party, man. So they said with that band coming in, if anyone's on the fence or leaning towards coming to see us sometime soon, like August 14th, make it happen.
We are making our first cold IPA release that day.
Oh yeah, we just made a beer yesterday actually. It should be ready in time. Made our first cold IPA, which is kind of the new trend. It's, people say is it not just an IPL or an India Pale Lager. It's a little different. But we made a beer for a good friend of ours whose father just passed away. So we made a beer in his honor, and we're releasing it that August 14th as well. So it'll be a cold IPA with citrus strata and Columbus hops. So
That's awesome.
that'll be that day as well.
That's awesome.
Cool.
That's it, man.
All right. Well, that'll bring us to our first toast of the day. It's so weird doing this in the sunset. The first toast I'm going to give to Heather and Josh, DankHouse Brewing. Thank you so much for dropping the beers off for us so we could do this episode. And thanks for taking the time to... I know it's been a while trying to get this episode in the works, but thank you for dealing with that process and coming on the show and hanging out with us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having
Cheers.
us.
I don't really have any cheers right now, so it's all you.
Bottoms up.
Yeah. Bottoms up. All right. Well, I'll do this cheers to all the listeners out there. Thank you so much. You can catch us on all of our socials now. We now have 130 followers on TikTok.
Hey, there
I
you
have
go.
been grinding away at our TikTok, and it has paid off. So you can catch us on TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, and Apple Podcast. I hope I said them all.
Takes more than one hand now, right? Because you didn't include TikTok on there.
Oh well, that's social.
Okay.
That's different than where we actually are on YouTube. So
YouTube.
yeah. So thank you so
Cheers to
much,
that.
listeners. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be doing this. So thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, and that brings us to an end of another episode of Pint Pals Podcast. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time. Hey everyone, it's Lucas from the Pint Pals Podcast. Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Be sure to check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and now TikTok. We also have set up a Patreon if you feel like supporting the show in another way. Again, it is always appreciated but never expected.